right, here we go. Mr. B here from Super Smoke Bros. Hey, I'm going to take you back almost a year to date when I met this young man, Scott Kablundy from Woodfire Grills. We were at Meat Fest last year, if you vaguely remember that. We had some video. We actually spoke with Scott. We came outside and we saw his display, and he actually had a bunch of grills inside as well. And I tell you what, there's only one other thing in my life that when I immediately looked at, I said I had to get one of those. And the very first one was my wife. So this is number two. Okay.
Priorities.
Yeah, priorities. Yep. So basically, that's kind of how we got connected, and it's been up till today to have the process completed, where I was lucky enough and fortunate enough to have Scott design a Super Smoke Bros grill that we'll show later in another video when we talk about the functionality. But I'm just going to kind of ask Scott a couple questions here. The first one is just, like, as everyone's probably interested, I was very curious as well, is, Scott, how did you get into Woodfire Grills, and kind of what's your story?
Yeah, thanks for asking. By the way, Meat Fest was fun.
Yeah.
We got connected there, and that was great. So yeah, it's quite simple. I had a buddy, and we were talking about making a grill, a custom grill. This is about 9 or 10 years ago. And we said, let's do it. We both kind of had the same experience, with grills. We had propane, gas grills, and you buy them at the big box stores, and what happens is use them for a year or 2 or 3, and you take them to the salvage, to the dump, because they're burned out. So our idea was let's customize one to how we like it. Let's build it in such a way that maybe we'll have it for a few years, right? And it'll be something that's really truly ours. And we started to think about other things too, such as what if you wanted to pull it across the lawn on a lawn party, right? Any one of these grills you buy at these big box stores, they've got these little tiny wheels. You can't pull them across. So there were certain things we said, we want bigger wheels. We want to be able to move this thing around, right? So we had some ideas like that, and we built a couple, and they turned out quite well. They were a little bigger than what we kind of had wanted. So happened to have a chance to get some of those smaller tanks, these size tanks that I'm calling the standard grill that we have, and I made a couple of those, and wow, they turned out pretty well. And as I started using mine more and more, the whole idea as to customizing it and what to put on it for accessories to make it something that was really customizable. We'll talk about that in a minute, but also just practical from a usability standpoint. And so that's where a lot of these ideas came from, just using it. And then I started to give some to my family and friends, and they came back and said, can you do this? Can you do that? And here we are, 100 grills later, and this is actually one of the very first ones, and I've cooked on it literally hundreds and hundreds of times. And what I did is I started to add things such as the basting dish and the convenience shelf for more space, and trays down here, and a towel rack and hooks. This happens to be a heat plate, and the thinking was got to be where I was thinking, well, what if this was a kitchen, like a cook kitchen, right? What would you need? You need parchment paper, you need trays, you need these sorts of things. So it went from the core grill idea to something that was accessorized with all these different functional things, and to what it is today. And so today, the idea is all of that, but it's also to really truly be your grill. Put what you like on it. Now this one, I happen to have 2 of these red tractors, so yeah, I kind of like that. And so I kind of started with that theme as far as really personalizing it. And you can see down here, it's got a farmhouse plate. It's got the manual crank on the bottom down there. This happens to be this is the exhaust It's international as well. It's a center for a hubcap, and so these it started to grow on me that hey, this would be something that would be attractive to people that they want a grill that is dependable, durable, will last a lifetime, but also really truly theirs. And so the whole concept got developed where potential customer will tell me, what do you want on your grill? If you like airplanes,
Yeah.
we'll put airplanes on there. If you like beer,
Right.
and you'll see a few examples of Pabst, Miller. But if you have heirlooms in the family, that maybe something grandpa had, like an old vehicle or an emblem on his old truck, and you wanted to do a car theme, a classic car theme, we'll show you some examples of that as well. So that's kind of where it is today, where the whole process is it's an experience really to work with me on what you like to have on your grill, to really get fired up about it, to be meaningful, right? And we do all the plasma cutting here, all hand cut, all one of a kind, and we will literally put on your grill whatever you want it to be yours. And that's kind of this. We'll show you. I have an older Chevy truck as well, which I did a theme out of that truck as well. But it meant something to me, and so that's the concept at Wood Fired Grill, is to make something that is truly your design, your build, because you are the one that really created the artwork, or helped create the artwork that we put on there, so that when you're cooking on it, not only is it making you awesome food, you really have something that's one of a kind, and it really speaks about you, because it's personalized to how you want it to theme up and look.
I'll tell you that there are many reasons why this is a very intriguing and inspiring grill. A lot of these grills, and one of the reasons I thought there was very intriguing and inspiring is exactly what you just talked about. The idea that this is a personalized, one-of-one custom grill smoker that you get to have, one of one in the world. No one else has one like yours. It's personalized, just like Scott said, for whatever way or whatever reason it is. But I tell you what, it's really impressive.
Yeah, and so like this one here, people ask me, will he sell this one? And my response is always the same. Look, this is mine, because I'll sell it to you. But really, the idea again is make it yours. I'm the one that came up with the tractor here and this. But if you want a Farmall one, we'll make you a Farmall one. But let's put your parts on it and put them where you want them, and make them function like so. It truly becomes an experience to go through, and you end up with something that is one of a kind, like unique.
Yep.
Yeah. Very.
Z from Super Smoke Bros. We're here in, look at this beautiful, beautiful place here. Well, we're with Scott from Wood Fired Grill, and some of you might have saw him at Meat Fest last year, and we did. Obviously, we're here, and he is going to talk to us about some unique features, especially the searing part of his custom grills. And when I say custom, they are custom for sure. So, Scott, go ahead.
Thank you, Z. So what I'm going to show you now is probably the most unique thing. There's many unique things about these grills, of course, the customization and so on, but it has to do with temperature and being able to cook, bake bread, grill, and sear at really high temperatures. I'm going to just simply show you how that's done. We've been grilling some things in here for the last hour or so, and we're getting to a point to where I'm going to show you how we can put that caramelized flavor, that texture on your food, on anything. I like to sear just about anything, so I do it all the time. But this grate here, the one on the side with the Cool Touch handles, is removable, and you can put it right in the firebox, right above the fire. So I'm going to show you exactly how that's done. You just simply pick this up, and you can see the food is already looking pretty good.
Yes, it does.
But it's going to look better. So we come around back here. You just want to get a shot of that fire, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, and I'm going to stick it right in there, right there. Now I can go ahead and put the cover on if I want. Our cover to the firebox, but I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna watch it. And You listen closely, you can hear it start to sizzle, right? Because it's probably, I don't know, the fire's not really hot, but it's right in that. It's probably 1,000 degrees. Um,
And
and
Scott, there's something to be said when you take your food off the grill like that, and then you bring it over here, and I mean, you can hear the sizzle like any type of grill. Brings back memories, nostalgia. But the smell, man, the smell is so good. It's so good, Scott.
yeah, once it starts to pop and sizzle like that, and the flavor starts to really come out, yeah, the smell is kind of it's something.
Yes.
Yeah. So the thing is, depending on how much bark,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big pit master, but people have their, degrees of how much of that caramelized, they want on their steak or their food.
Yeah.
Here we got brats and chicken. Leave it in there longer, and
Mm-hmm.
but I think for me, I'm probably about where I want to be. It's been maybe 60 seconds, 90
Yeah,
seconds.
about a minute or so. Yeah.
And we'll take that out of there and take a look at it. So there you go. You can hear that sizzling away.
And here, you take it right off, you still can hear it. That's what you know. It's good then. You know it's good.
We'll just go ahead and take a peek at what we got here. So you can get a close up here. You can see, food is really, really starting to get that. See that caramelized bark on the
Yes.
back of there, right?
Mm-hmm.
See that?
Oh, you see it. Yeah, definitely.
No, I probably, would have left it in there maybe just a little bit longer, but that's pretty good. That's about how I like it. See that?
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So, and I do that with my steaks. I do that with just about everything because I like that texture.
Yeah, definitely.
So that removable grate gives you the ability to do it all on the same grill. I'm doing some kraut here. I'm actually baking some bread in here, but I can at the same time go to the other side.
Yeah.
Give it say 1,400 degrees and sear it with this on the same grill at the same time. So that's pretty unique.
That is, and everyone knows, like, especially with meat, like you mentioned, it's got steak, but to get that sear and you get that flavor when you bite into it, you can't do that on every type of grill, but you can do it on yours, man. And that's what everyone loves about that meat is that sear. So I know it took a lot of trial and error and a lot of feedback, but man, you got a great product here.
That's searing on the wood-fired grill.
Yep. You're ready. Mr. B back with Scott. Scott's going to go over some feature and functionality components of his standard grill.
All right, guys, let's dive right into it. So as we were talking in a different segment about customization, I happen to have this truck. It's a 47 Chevy, and I thought, hey, that'd be really cool to have on my grill. So I put it on there, and then, it just grew from there. I mean, I like the Chevy stuff. So in fact, on the back here, the cover that we're using, Chevy, right? we're all Chevy, and these other features. I guess we talked a little bit about what those could look like or could be. If you're looking to have, and you probably are like me, to have the full complement of tools, like a kitchen, if you will.
One-stop shop.
This one here, if you like the truck or the classic car or truck theme, I think there's about 20 wrenches in this one. If you're looking closely, they're just about everywhere.
Oh yeah.
Got to have this
little bottle opener.
Opener, right?
Yeah.
This is a heat plate off to the side, and more Chevy in the basting dish. So Super Smoke Bros said, hey, let's why can't we make a Super Smoke Bros one? And here we are. We did.
Oh yeah.
So what I want to do here is just walk through some of the features of really what makes the grill. First of all, let's talk about durability, dependability. So the thinking was we're going to make a grill that's going to last how long? Well, a long time.
Yeah.
How long is a long time? I put a 25-year guarantee on these, and that was just because I had to come up with some number, right? Really, it's lifetime, and the reason is because there's really nothing that can go wrong with this grill. The simplicity of it. So the thought process was, well, what if your hinges on your cook chamber door, because these are really, as you can see, there's some rain on these. We're outside. It's raining. Has been raining. They're really designed to set outside. like these tanks have. They've been outside for, most of these tanks are 60, 70 years old, believe it or not. So we went with stainless hinges. So most of these, if not all of them, I guess, with regard to where the hinge, the connection points are, they're stainless. And the reason is obvious. If you know what could go wrong is those sitting outside. Of course, if you're using your grill regularly, probably
Yeah.
won't happen. But there's on this one, there's a little place to put some cooking oil up there. So that was one thing we thought. The gasket on the door, yeah, I suppose after time. Your temperature gauge, there's different brands and varieties you can use. That might be another possibly replaceable item. This is aluminum diamond plate. That's you know, so the thinking was in 5 years, 10 years, 20, 30. What's not going to work on this? There's no electronics. They're simple all day long, old school. And the tanks are heavy. These tanks are ideal for heat retention because of their weight and how heavy the thickness is on them.
Yep.
So that was part of the thinking process as well. Wheels, we wanted something you could roll out onto the lawn in the summertime. So they all come with 5-inch wheels, nice big wheels for versatility. Ball bearing wheels.
For off-roading.
Off-roading, I suppose. After time, you know, those should be greased at some interval, I suppose. But in terms of a maintenance-related item on it, I have a hard time coming up with something that really you would say, look, I need to take this to the salvage yard. It just wouldn't happen because you could be using this for decades and it would still work the same way that it worked on day one, right? And when you have a grill that looks as cool as, again, personalized to you, how you want it, right? You'd never want to get rid of it anyway. In fact, the day would come when you'd be sad if you did, right? So the two kind of work hand in hand where, okay, it's personalized, it's customized, but it's also made so that it's something literally you would pass on in the family.
I was going to say that. My 10-year-old son probably will end up with this one at some point.
Is really how it would work.
Yeah.
So as far as heat retention, again, you know, these offset smokers, they work great, but the vertical design here, all the heat ends up right in the cook chamber, all of it. And so from an efficiency standpoint, right, you know, if you like to cut wood, go cut wood all day long and burn it in your smoker. But really, if you're burning wood that's hard to come by, like here I have tons of cherry, but even so, I'd rather be smoking than cutting wood.
Yes.
But if you're using something like pecan, it's a little harder to get, right? I just don't want to be burning it, right? Because it's probably expensive to get and hard to get. So with these, they're very efficient with regard to the wood use. And the number one thing that really across the board, outside of the fact that you can sear with them, we'll talk about that maybe in a minute, is that they hold their temperature consistently, evenly. Some guys will tell me that, you know, a degree or two, you know, they'll turn this like that much for a degree or two. Well, that's pretty cool. You know, if you're using a big box store grill and you happen to look at your food, boom, and you go like that, and you look at the temperature gauge and it drops, you know, 20 degrees. That doesn't happen here because the heat retention is so good on these with that. So heat plate, again, here's another place. There's actually a damper here for exhaust, right? You look up on the top here, you'll see, you know, it's another place for you know, when we talk about how versatile these grills are, you know, you can exhaust your heat here. You can also do it here, and depending how you set up your we'll start talking about this here as well. Your fire brick here, you have these. It's really almost like an infinite, you know, in terms of temperature zones. You can smoke at, you know, 110 degrees, 20, 30, whatever you're comfortable there with smoking. But you can also take your removable grate and put it in the firebox, and you can sear at 1200 degrees or 1400 degrees on the same grill at the same time, right? And so this, obviously we don't do that because our food disappears.
Yeah.
But this is designed in such a way, right? So with the Cool Touch handles,
Yep.
and you simply you walk back here, and when you're doing your searing, you just simply stick that right in there. And now, if you'd like to really put a lot of smoke on it, you can close that down, and or you can leave it off. Typically, at that kind of temperature, I mean, how long do you want to leave it down there? A minute or two.
Yeah.
If you really like the bark on it, you might leave it down there, a little bit longer. So that's a few things, with regard to probably the most unique things. And then, this is a great convenience shelf to put your wood on. But really what I found is that when you put your wood on here like this against the cook chamber, it dries your wood out. Now, you would never use wet wood anyway, but even the moisture content that dry wood does have, it's even better after you let it sit on here. And that's important if you're doing, it's important all the time actually, but if you're doing a brisket, which is, many, many hours, and you're putting wood in, adding wood as you go, you don't want to have that curve, where the fire, needs to come back again, right?
Yep.
You get
Keep
less.
consistent.
Yeah, you get less of that when you've got really, really good combustible wood. And one way to get that is it's almost like a kiln.
Oh, for sure.
On the back of your.
I thought this was I just thought this was a fire stacker first. Then you explained it. This is a great, outside of the box design thought. I was like, this is brilliant.
Yeah, it's practical in more than one way. So so that was a little bit of a surprise to me, like some of these things where it turned out to have more value than just the convenience of having a place to put your wood. So this idea of being able to sear on the same grill is probably, I would say it's probably the most unique thing, other than maybe the appearance, but that's not really a function. That's more aesthetics. But it's that, and then also the the consistent temperature that you get, because we got so much. These grills are 300 pounds, and all that mass, right, helps retain the heat. So you can remove this grill, this grate as well, right? It's that easy to remove it. And you'd probably want to do that if you're going to rearrange your fire brick. So the way these work, pretty easy to see, where the heat comes up, it hits your fire brick, goes across this way, and then it comes out, goes up here. Now you can use this little exhaust damper as well to get your heat to go maybe more over here. But you can move these around. You can slide these all to one side, as an example. See that? And let's say you want a little more heat over here, slide them to that side. And you're going to have a little cooler area over here. Happens to me all the time, where you get two steaks of different, or whatever you might have in here. And you want to let something rest a little bit, and you're working on something else.
A little more indirect.
You set it up like that. You don't have to use these. I guess you could cook directly. I've had some people that found that they like doing that occasionally. You can put your wood chips right there if you want. Soak them overnight. I really don't do that. I just use the wood in the back, whatever flavoring wood I've got. You could cook directly, like I said, directly up through there. That's not what I do, but some do. You could use your drip pan. You want a little more heat right there, underneath your fire brick. Let's say you want a little moisture in there, some apple vinegar or whatever you're using for moisture. Put that in there. You could again rearrange it. So the whole idea there is to have a grill that's as versatile with regard to temperature zones, heat zones, anything from smoking at 100 degrees to searing at 1500 degrees, just depending on how you really want to set it up. So that's pretty cool, all in one. So you got a grill that's customized exactly how you want it, because that's how we work together on it. Whatever the logos are, the shelving, look at this here. We got the paper down here, the parchment paper. Just roll it off down there.
Yeah.
Pull a tray off of there, which is really handy when you're doing outside, and you're good to go there. Um, so these are cool. These are stainless. This is stainless Cool Touch handles, where we use those where we can, and stainless rod here. So again, to keep it functional, durable, and this idea that it's going to last, well, really indefinitely.
Right.
I mean, I've never had never had anybody. It's been 10 years. Never had anybody that told me that it didn't work.
Yeah, yeah.
Or they're not using it the same way it did on day one. So, so that's good. So, in fact, what happens with these from an aesthetic standpoint is that now this looks pretty cool. I will have to agree with regard to the patina on these old tanks. However, you can imagine what this is going to look like once you get some good old smoke on there.
Oh yeah.
Right. And even some more patina.
Yep.
And then you get those those fire brick that are in there. Those are really not supposed to look that color.
Yeah, yeah.
They're supposed to be all right, saturated,
Yep.
and then it becomes the kind of thing where looking at it is one thing, but you can't even walk by it without like, wow, that smells great, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the goals that we're after as well. So so I mean, whatever your heart's desire with regard to theming, we'll work with you on that. And if you're looking for a grill that, I guess we say, this might be the last grill you ever buy,
Right?
Because from a functional standpoint, there's really not. I mean, we put some thought into this to make the components in such a way that it should work in 50 years. It should literally work the same way.
Right.
I mean, put wood into it, right? Clean your grates off, and I'll mention. I guess I didn't mention these are stainless. Those are stainless. Just another place where sometimes they can deteriorate over the years. You probably see that on the big box grills. Those the drip plates or the plates, they're pretty thin to start out with, but they pretty soon they're no good. So stainless, so that's I think we've described it pretty well.
Yeah.
Yep. This one obviously is for Smoke Brothers.
Yes.
Yes.
Smoke Bros.
Yeah. Again, truly impressive. Again, how the functionality, I've never seen anything like it before. And the design and the personalization, it's like you said, in my opinion, I agree with you. This might be the last one I ever buy.
Yeah, we hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, in a good way. Right?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yep.
We'll sell you another one. But
Yeah,
exactly. And I'll mention one more thing. In this, people do care about this repurposing. These are, you probably figured this out. I mean,
yes.
Obviously, they're repurposed propane tanks,
Yep.
and they are hard to get rid of because most places won't take them,
right?
Because they had gas in them, right, and were used in that way. So there's some danger there, right, with disposing of them. But I'll take them and safely blast them, clean them. And in fact, because it's a regulated business, propane, they're all stamped on the end with the age. Like if you look on this one, I believe it's 47. And that repurposing, in these grills, there's a tank here, there's a tank there. There's about 3.5 tanks. And, instead of taking them to the salvage yard or, we repurpose them into these cool grills. Yeah. So that's appealing.
Very cool
as well. Yeah. So that's our story.
All right, here we go. Back again. Now what a great discussion and just everything that these grills have to offer. Now we're going to look at some more custom designs and see if one of these may catch your eye and get you to create your own with Scott here. So Scott, do your magic.
All right. So obviously this guy, he's a Harley guy. No question about it, right? So, when you have a grill, your own grill, right?
Yeah.
Sitting at home, you pull this out of the garage or sitting outside on your deck or that sort of thing. You're looking at it and you're saying to yourself, that's my grill.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So, this, this gentleman looked high and low for parts, and he came up with all this stuff. As we look at this grill, we've got a handlebar. We've got these are crash bars right here that are, and down here we've got the shocks. We've got a cam. We've got a racing sprocket. This is the brake, I believe. These are the forks in the back. Of course, the Harley pig with the little Harley emblem on it.
I love it.
This is actually an older Harley, the gauge cluster chrome. Put that on there. This has a little side exhaust as well, and this you can smoke out of that, or you can put a cast iron pot up here for as a warming plate. You can put this off to the side like that if you want. In the back, yeah, more Harley, right? We got the little bottle opener there. This stuff, of course. Here's a tail light. Here's some more Harley parts. This comes off, gets set up here, right? So, you like Harley? I like Harley, actually. This is the grill for you, right? So, just an example. Let's take a look at another one.
I love the details. Like, if you look closely, this pig has a nose ring. I love it. Those little details you just don't get everywhere.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. This gentleman, now this is a little bigger grill because, occasionally we'll make whatever you want. But you notice the size of this is a little bigger. He wanted something for parties, and so it's set up in a similar way in terms of the fire brick and how the firebox, vertical arrangement. But he was all about bear hunting and all bear, right? So if you look, there's a trap here, there's a trap here, there's a trap in the back. These are actually trap little brackets there, and of course the bear on the top. So a lot of convenience handles and pegs and that sort of thing. He wanted the coal, the park grill style off to the side. Okay, this chain was kind of a cool idea, right? Separates there on the door. That was pretty cool. There's a place for your wood, of course, trays. That's if you're thinking practical again, trays.
Yep.
Of course, he wanted a lot to have lawn parties, grilling parties.
But what we were talking about too before, Scott, is like having this right here is really good for searing, because as you're going to see here, this firebox is awesome. But it might be a little bit harder to sear in there, and this is really nice to have that.
Yeah, exactly. That was the thinking. And here's another bear trap. Well, that's a trap. I'm not sure that's a bear trap. That's a bear trap. Here you got some more artwork, and then down here, firebox, all lined with fire brick. Again, heat retention is really a big, if you're going to have a quality grill, it's got to retain heat. And so this is just a shelf for your wood, right? And then Pabst. I get people like to drink beer when they're grilling, and people have a lot of some people like Miller. I did a Miller grill. If you look on the website, Miller High Life, that was kind of a cool one. Did a couple of these.
You did a show last year, didn't you?
Yeah,
the High Life one.
Yeah.
Yes.
So again, you get the parts. We'll put them on there. As you look, it's Pabst everywhere. Pabst, right? And
even right here, this is super cool. Like their little saucepan, basting dish, dish right there. Yep. Close to the grill, so it keeps it warm too if you want it to.
Yeah.
It's that's great, and I'm trying to get Scott to sell me this one, but he's not budging. So
I'll make you one. Just like
I know,
yeah.
And that's what I love about Scott. He's like, well, you got to go through the experience, Chris.
Yeah,
let's go through the experience together, and because it brings back a lot of memories for me, like a lot of these grills do, and smokers.
Yeah, if you have a, what I think is, if you have something that's been in the family, like these auto or classic car themed ones, classic truck, Grandpa's truck, his old truck that he used to have, and maybe the emblem or logo or whatever it might be, the horn knob or button or something, those types of things really make the grill 100% unique. Beyond just, hey, this is cool, but it becomes very meaningful, right?
Yep.
And so obviously we're out here in the rain. There's a reason for that. Grillers don't stop.
Yep.
right? When rain or shine, right? And a little story behind cooking on these. I mean, they're first of all, they're designed to set outside. Unless you have something really special on it that you don't want to have setting outside, but they look way cooler just setting outside after years of use. I mean, they even, believe it or not, they look better. Well, like my
Yes. Yep.
like this is about 10 years of use setting outside. The spice box not, because that's wood. So there's that. So what I mean by that is don't stop grilling just because it's 0 degrees outside. These things, wind, rain, snow, what have you, they work. They're all weather. They're designed that way, designed to be outside and be used. Really, it's a tough thing to go through a winter without grilling at all, right?
Exactly. And what I wish if I was better at this, I would have got video of it. But when we're here, it was downpouring for a while, and they never lost temp. They kept going, and just kept going, and they never lost temp. And because what I'm so impressed with the quality material that you reuse and you upcycle is better than anything you can find in a box store.
Yeah, and of course, these tanks are that decades old. Most of these are 60s, 50s, and 60s, some 40s as well.
Yeah, we had that 40s.
So they're really thick, and because they've been outside for a while, I mean, they do have a little patina on them, and that's just a little advantage of repurposing the old tanks. They have the patina. The rust look is one of my favorites, but we can put color on them too as well. So whatever you like, beer, bears, Harley, tractors,
Smoke Bros, you got it.
anything you like, we'll do it for you. Yeah. All right. So great.